Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we really get into the sources you're interested in, pull out the key bits.
Uncover what's really going on beneath the surface.
Exactly. So today we're heading to South Africa, looking at a document called Cape Town, Echoes of Peace, Then and Now.
Sounds intriguing. Then and now.
Right. Our mission, basically, is to trace this specific message about peace across, well, two really different times in Cape Town, see how it lasted.
Okay. So looking at how an idea resonates over time.
Yeah. And it makes you think, doesn't it? Have you ever had a message hit you at one point, maybe felt significant, but then later on,
Yes.
it just lands differently, maybe even deeper?
Oh, definitely. I think that happens to most of us, Something clicks later that didn't before.
Right.
And what's compelling here is seeing that on a bigger scale, almost a historical one. This document gives us these two snapshots.
50 years apart.
50 years
Yeah.
apart, yeah. Cape Town then, Cape Town now.
Yeah.
But connected by this thread, this focus on inner peace.
Okay, so let's start with then. 50 years back in Cape Town. What was it like? What does the source tell us?
Well, it paints a picture that's maybe a bit unexpected. The focus is on a 19-year-old.
19.
Yeah, just 19. And this young person is getting ready for the arrival of someone called Maharaj Ji.
Okay.
But what's really interesting is this 19-year-old was apparently already giving talks
Talks. About what?
about self-knowledge at the local university to students.
Wow. At 19 in the university. That's unusual.
It really is. You have to wonder what made that possible, Was it the person, the times?
Yeah, it definitely makes you curious. And the source says the university, the students, they were actually receptive.
Very receptive. They even gave him a classroom for these talks.
Okay, so they weren't just tolerating it, they were facilitating it.
Exactly. Which suggests, maybe a real openness there. Perhaps a kind of searching among the students back then.
A hunger for something.
Could be. And then, when Maharaj Ji himself actually arrived and spoke, the impact was huge.
How huge.
According to the document, the entire student body turned up to listen.
The entire student body.
That's what it says. That sheer scale, it really underlines how significant that moment must have felt.
Wow. That's quite an image. And the source uses some pretty evocative language, doesn't it?
It does. Things like being beneath the vast roaring heavens, and this initial effort being like a fledgling spark, meeting these eager, questioning minds.
You can almost feel that energy, that anticipation.
Yeah, and phrases like pure resonance or the deep current of the universal one.
Right. Those need a bit of unpacking maybe, but they point towards something deep.
Definitely. A profound connection being made, tapping into that fundamental human thing, the search for inner peace.
So that's the then.
Yeah.
A powerful moment. Now jump forward 50 years.
And the world looks incredibly different.
Totally. Technology, society, everything's shifted. The source points that out too.
It does, but it also makes a crucial point about what hasn't changed.
Which is,
That basic human longing, the desire for peace, that's constant.
okay. So despite all the external changes, the internal quest remains.
Exactly, like an inner compass. And that's where this idea comes in, that the whisper of peace, as the document puts it, found new ways to be heard.
New channels, new pathways. Which brings us to Cape Town today. The source says it's become a pretty major hub for Prem Rawat's message of peace in South Africa now.
That's right, a significant center. And the way the message gets out now is, well, it's evolved quite a bit.
How so? What are the methods now?
It's a real contrast. It started with those face-to-face talks.
Right, in the university.
Now it's expanded. The source mentions radio broadcasts, large public events, even peace education programs.
Wow, quite a range. Radio seems like a big one.
Yeah, it highlights appearances on Heart Radio, the O Factor show,
Okay.
and Bush Radio on a show called Everyday People. And the reach is, well, it's huge.
How many people are we talking about?
The estimate mentioned is around 1.2 million listeners for these broadcasts.
1.2 million. That's massive compared to a university lecture hall.
Absolutely. Exponential growth in potential audience. It really shows how the message adapted, found new platforms.
So what's the core message people are hearing on the radio? What are those themes?
The source sums it up as things like living an inspired life, even with challenges.
Okay.
Tuning into a higher purpose, maybe. Being present. Finding joy in just, everyday life.
Pretty universal themes.
Very. And what's key, the document argues, is that these modern messages are directly linked back. They're the very lessons Maharaj Ji embodied all those years ago.
So the essence is the same, just the delivery method has changed.
That seems to be the core argument. Same wisdom, new resonance.
And it's not just radio, you said, live events too.
Correct. Prem Rawat still speaks directly to audiences in Cape Town, apparently quite diverse crowds.
The message there.
Still centered on that core idea. Peace starts inside. It's an individual journey, first and foremost.
Okay, and while it goes beyond Cape Town, the city remains a key focal point.
Yeah, the source emphasizes Cape Town as central, even as the message reaches other cities in South Africa.
This really leads us to the heart of it then, this idea of a single truth just echoing through time.
Exactly. The Cape Town story, this then and now, it's a powerful case study, isn't it?
Yeah.
Showing how wisdom can, well, persist and adapt.
That message of inner peace, first hitting home with a teenager and some students, and now potentially reaching over 1 million via radio waves.
It's quite a journey. The source uses that phrase, cosmic rhythm playing out.
Right, like this ongoing impulse towards harmony.
Yeah. And there's that quote included from someone named Zoran.
What does it say?
The seed of peace, once planted, knows no time. It waits for the right soil, then blossoms anew, even a century later.
That's beautiful. Really captures that timeless quality.
It does. It sums up that resilience, that enduring nature of the message, how it just finds ways to connect again and again.
So wrapping up this deep dive into the Cape Town document, the standout insight for me is just that demonstration. How a message about inner peace kept its power, its relevance over 50 years. Adapted, reached new people, but stayed true at its core.
Absolutely. It speaks volumes about that fundamental human need for peace, doesn't it?
It really does.
And the power of a message that addresses it directly.
So it leaves us with something to think about for you listening. The source mentioned something called a dragon trial, like facing inner challenges.
Right.
Maybe think about a message, an idea that really resonated with you strongly in the past. How has it changed for you now? Has its meaning shifted, deepened, maybe?
Yeah, how does it land today?
Exactly. What does its lasting presence, maybe in a new form, tell you about those truths that, well, that seem to stick around? Something to ponder.
Definitely food for thought.
We'll continue exploring sources like this in our future deep dives.